Friday to one and all. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming back. I can't imagine how many times you must have come back and checked. Is there a new episode? Is there a new? And then you probably gave up. But look, it's a new episode of Sometimes the Old Man is Right. As always, I am your host, Lamont Ferguson, playing the role of the old man. It has been 592 days since the last release of Sometimes the Old Man is Right. Since a brand new episode has dropped, 592 days. Coming close to 2 years. Something must have gotten me all riled up to be able to come back into the studio, I'm using air quotes there, to get behind the mic to release another episode. What could it have been? Because I'm pretty sure, just like you, I thought I was done. I thought I'd said everything I could possibly say. Maybe I didn't have enough fire, but I'm all fired up. Like I said, it has been quite a while. I've just been away. You know what? I'll tell you the truth. I have actually recorded 2 episodes and then just never posted them because I went back and listened to them again, and I just didn't think they were worthy of listening to. I still may post them now that I've come back, but I tried. I just didn't have the fire. So, as always with all my projects, I got to have the fire. Sometimes the fire goes out. Sometimes the fire gets rekindled. Right now, fire's blazing. Probably the bad analogy to use while I'm here in Southern California after what happened with us and fires. But you know what I mean, right? This is episode 38. You know how I used to break down the seasons, go, hey, season 2, episode blah, blah, blah. Well, because it's been 592 days, why don't we just go ahead and wipe the slate clean? We'll call it episode 38, season 3, episode 1. Does that work? How have you been? I hope all of you are well. How have you been doing? What's the good word? I've been all right. Thanks for asking. Just busy. Working and pickleball. That's pretty much all my life boils down to. Working and trying to get better at this game of pickleball. Shall we jump into it? Maybe I'll ease you into it. I'll ease you into what's got me fired up. As far as work goes, I go out next week. I'm recording this on Valentine's Day. I leave next week to head out to a ship on the Celebrity Equinox. This year, 2025, all my contracts for Celebrity are 3 weeks on and then whatever the time is off. So I have been enjoying a very nice time off. The total will be about 27 days, so 1 day short of a month. And I've had a very relaxing time sitting at home doing home stuff, whatever that is. You know what you do when you sit at home. But next week I head out, and I'll be out there for 3 weeks. And, it is what it is. It's work. You do work, get the money, enjoy the fruits of the labor of the work. So I'm not ready yet, not in the mindset yet to go back to work. I've kind of been really adjusted to this not going to work thing, but I've got to start ramping up and getting ready to go out to work. But other than that, work is good, all is well. Children are well, family's well. So it's good. It's all good. All right, folks, let's get into it, shall we? This is what has gotten me fired up and gotten me behind the microphone. Last week, as all of you know, was the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles trounced the Kansas City Chiefs. But that wasn't the story, even though the Chiefs were going for a three-peat, which has never been done in the NFL. The story is the halftime show, the Kendrick Lamar halftime show. I posted on social media that the early results were typical. A lot of white folks hated it, A lot of black folks loved it. And then I also said, if you are going to post any nonsense, before you do so, look up the word lots. Because the truth is, when I put something up, I don't care about your opinion. I don't. I didn't ask for your opinion. This is the problem with social media. And as you know, I'm still fired up about social media. Horrible invention. The idea of giving everybody an opportunity to spout whatever nonsense is in their head. How did anyone see that that would be a good idea? Have you met people? I have. And there's a lot of nonsense in their heads. A lot of empty-headed people. I've gone through this before. You listen to other episodes, you know my disdain for the invention of people. Not even in the top 10 list of good things that God has invented. People are not in that list. But this idea with social media to give them this platform. Oh, good Lord. How did you not see this coming? So I posted it. And people chimed in with their things saying, hey, I really liked it, and stuff. And then, of course, there's the other folks that want to jump in and say, oh, it was terrible. It was horrible. It was the worst ever. We are very prisoners of the moment is what society is. Worst moment ever. That's worst halftime show ever. Ever? Really? Ever? In your X amount of years on this planet, you're going to put the ever thing on there? Because this is who we are. We all believe we're so important that time did not exist before us, nor will time go on after us, which is a shame because it will so go on after us. Oh my goodness, like a snowball down a hill, it will continue. People will barely remember who the hell any of us are. None of us are that important. None of us. So people posted, oh, this and that. I didn't like it. This is how it should be. One, you know, my friend Stan. Stan jumps on and says that the Super Bowl halftime show should be for everybody. According to whom? It should be for everybody? First of all, what music is for everybody? Which songs are for everybody that everybody likes? This is the same problem I have on the ship when they say, oh, we want you to have universal appeal to all the people out here. And I say that the number one grossing stand-up comic is Jerry Seinfeld, worth over $1 billion. And there are many people who do not find Seinfeld funny. Well, if he's the number one guy at an estimated value of $1 billion, me, whose value is slightly under $1 billion, let's say, I think that's safe to say, what are the chances that I'm going to get everybody under the tent? If the guy who's making the most money can't get everyone under the tent, what is the guy who's not making the most money going to? What are the odds of my chances of getting everybody under the tent? Everything isn't for everybody. I don't know where we got this idea, this whole life thing that I really believe a lot of it has to do with, and these are older people too. Stan's an older person. I can understand from the young people who grew up under the adage that life is supposed to be fair. The rest of us grew up under the adage that life just isn't fair and you just accept how it is. Young people said, well, why? And then they're angry about it not being fair, and then they're busy complaining about all the things that aren't fair. So this is one of those things where it doesn't have to be for everybody. It's not for you. I am so comfortable in many things not being for me. There's plenty of things for me. There's plenty of things in the world that are for me, that I don't have to have everything be for me. I don't know why that can't be a national push. that really should be a national push that, hey, by the way, everything isn't for you. And that's okay. You know how the mental health push is it's okay to not be okay? How about it's okay to not have everything be for you, and that's okay? But they jump on. They want, oh my goodness, this is just a small percentage. I saw a guy do an editorial on social media from Newsmax. And Newsmax is out of their doggone minds in the first place. And this guy was all fired up saying it was the worst halftime show ever and how it was monochromatic and it didn't include other races. Matter of fact, they even called it racist, which is the funniest thing. This reverse racism thing is my favorite topic to laugh about when people are, and it's white people, that go, well, this is reverse racism. We're not included in this, and you keep talking about inclusion, and look at how you're acting. Okay, we didn't include you in that particular Super Bowl, which is a lie, by the way, because if you were to go and look at Kendrick Lamar's concerts and watch him singing the very popular song, the Drake diss track song of Not Like Us, take a look at the audience. Take a look at a video from the Forum when he sang that song, I think 5 times in a row, which was, okay, I'm going to say that's a bit much, but the crowd didn't seem to mind. Take a look at the people in the audience. It's a lot of white people. It's a lot of white people. So it's not that it's not for you. It's not for you because it's not your taste or you're old. And I don't know why you can't just admit that. Hey, I'm old. Time marches by. If you were to go to my Facebook post and see Stan says, I'm looking for popular music, music they play on the radio. Well, first of all, this is a song they play on the radio. It just won the Grammy for Song of the Year and Record of the Year. So it's got to be played on the radio. And he listed Beyonce, Maroon 5, Justin Timberlake, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and then kind of tongue-in-cheek saying Kool and the Gang. I thought, you have not listened to the radio in God knows how long. Anybody can tell me when the last time Justin Timberlake released a hit song? Other than something that came out of the movie Trolls? Anyone? Any got anything? No, not dissing Justin Timberlake. I love Justin Timberlake. I'm just talking about if you're going to say songs that are played on the radio that are popular now, Justin Timberlake's not in that category. You want to say Beyonce? Cool. That's fine. Beyonce just did a Super Bowl. That's why she's not doing the Super Bowl again. You can't have them keep doing the Super Bowl over and over again. Not only that, what was the last thing that Beyonce released that she just won a Grammy for? Was it not Country Album of the Year? That the country folks said is not country? So, and Maroon 5, I love Maroon. All those people I love. I love everyone he mentioned, but they're not relative today. If you mention to a kid Maroon 5 today, my Noah's 22 years old. You say Maroon 5, is like, yeah, I think I kind of, is that the guy on The Voice? Is that the guy who was a judge on The Voice? Okay. Yeah, I think I kind of know who he is. That's what would be the case. I'm just saying, if you're going to make an argument, make all the points of your argument valid and relevant and consistent. That's all I'm saying. And it got me to thinking, why are people angry? Why are they angry? When I posted, I said a lot of white people are mad about this, and people have kind of made it into a race thing. But it's a little bit more than that. There's that component to it. Especially when anyone wants to talk about why they don't like the music, they have to be insulting about the culture. I'll see, these baggy pants and hoodie wearing people. Okay, what does that have to do with the music? What they're wearing, what does that have to do with the music. Or I read something else, and it was very crass, like a jungle music or whatever. I'm not sure if that was the exact quote, but it was something along that line. And my thought is, just say the N-word. You want to. You know you want to. Just go ahead and say it. Could we stop pussyfooting around racism? I made this comment back during the pandemic when I said that I wanted the people who were racist to be out in the open. And a friend of mine said, no, I like it when they have to push that down. I'm like, no, I want it out in the open. I want to know where the landmines are. That's why this whole idea where people feel emboldened and empowered to walk around with their white power stuff and have these marches, good, fantastic. I wish they'd just take off the hoods. I wish they'd stop wearing masks. I wish they were so proud of it that they'd actually just reveal their identity and not be, hey, I'm going to put my toe in the water of it, or I'm just going to wade in it up to my ankles. No, go all in. We need to know who and where you are, because it's making you uncomfortable that you have to deal in a society with people who don't look like you. And if that's the case, then I say all cards on the table. Flip them all over. Let's go. I don't have to do anything violent. You don't do anything violent, but I just need to know where you are. So when you're busy using code words like this, I'd say, look, just say the N-word because you know you want to. I apologize. I'm sorry that a word that you invented, not you particularly, you know what I mean, your people, your lineage invented, that you don't get to use it anymore. And I know that kind of sucks because maybe you're looking forward to using it. I have no idea, but it sure seems this way. It sure seems this way. But like I said, folks have made it to where it looks like it's a racial thing. And it's not. It's an equal thing. It's a racial thing, but it's also an age thing. It's an age thing because, like I said, if you go to those concerts, you'll see a lot of young white people. A lot of young white people who don't have any problem at all with the song, the music, the culture, or anything about that. It is older people. And I gave this some thought. And this is controversial because, I'm an old man. So therefore, everything I'm saying is going to be controversial. For the older white people that are bothered by it, it feels like to me that you're upset because you lost your kids. You lost your kids to a culture that you don't understand, nor that you actually liked or appreciated or gave the moment to try and understand it. When I hear people talk about, it's just rap and it's not talented and not that type of deal where I just hear a bunch of rhyming and words and it takes no talent to do that, really, then go ahead and try. Go ahead and try. Try to sit down and write something that rhymes and also gives a message and it has some type of symbolism within it and all the little nuances that have to do with rap. Go ahead and give it a try. And then I'll believe you that it doesn't take talent. But the fact that you want to say that it's not talent tells me more about your lack of talent than anything else. So I have a feeling it has to do with you've lost your children. A lot of, like I said, it's a harsh take. But you've lost your children to whatever the culture is that you wanted them to look at. Because you have ancestral pressure that taught you that people of color were less than you. And they were not of the same ilk as you. And it feels like you just couldn't pass that along to your kids. And you've missed out on that opportunity. And now you're angry. That's what it feels like. That's what it seems like. Because not only do your kids not have the same views as you do about minorities, hell, there are a ton of white kids that want to be black. It's like you failed so miserably in your ideology that to tell them that this, you're better than this, and now they look at these people as being role models. And you're like, well, we can't have that. I can't have my kid looking up to a black person as being a role model. Or if they are, then that black person has to be someone, wholesome, like Cosby. Oops. Maybe try to get to know people just in general. And by the way, this is not against anyone in particular. This is just my thoughts on what I'm seeing, on how I am processing all this hatred and this, like the dog whistle from the Newsmax guy. Whether or not that guy believes what he's saying or he's just trying to cater to his audience, I don't really know. But this is what it sounds like to me. I've had people counter my argument saying the problem is that they're not teaching real history in school. They're not teaching the real history of the country in school, and therefore that's what the problem is. I mean, that may be the case. That quite possibly can be the case. I don't really know what the history is that we are teaching in school. I know when I was in school and I had history, I questioned nothing about the socioeconomic stuff or racial stuff. I just questioned the amount of history that can be taught, because history keeps adding chapters at the back end. And if you keep starting from the beginning, the school year is going to be the same length. So how is it that you're going to be able to get up to any type of recent history if you keep teaching the same way? And this is what I thought 40 years ago in high school when I was taking history. I thought, well, wait a minute, we're starting at the beginning and we're only going to be able to get to, I don't even know where we got to. Maybe World War II, maybe? Well, what about the stuff that took place after World War II? Because the school year's over and there's more things being back-ended. So I don't know what we're teaching. I have no idea. All I know is that as a kid in school, good Lord, I dreaded Black History Month. Good grief, I dreaded Black History Month. Because no matter what school, especially in high school, what school I went to, in class, there were only a handful of Black people in class, and sometimes it was only me, especially in high school. I think I've told this story before. Out in the East County of San Diego, 2,000 kids in a high school. When I first enrolled in the 9th grade, there were 3 Black people. 2 of those were brothers, the Clouds. And imagine how many times they must have heard the joke of, oh, the dark cloud is coming. Good Lord, get some new stuff. And then me. And then by the time I graduated, I think there were 5 Black people in the school, and 2 of those were my sisters. So I couldn't stand Black History Month because it was always a point of talking about this, and then people, you just felt eyes on you or certain, it just was uncomfortable. It was just very uncomfortable. And if you had to do the play, I remember in the elementary school, we were doing the thing about the Underground Railroad, follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. That was the name of the star configuration, the Big Dipper, in giving directions towards freedom on the Underground Railroad. And I couldn't stand it because I knew I had to be in the play. Who else is going to be in the play? I knew I had to be in the play. I remember a line I had in the 2nd grade, and it was, shoot, boy, you never heard of the drinking gourd? Yeah, shoot, boy, you never heard of the drinking gourd. I had to black it up for that performance. I think I was robbed of an award. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, it was always an uncomfortable moment. Black History Month couldn't happen fast enough. I was, for one, as a kid, so happy there were only 28 days, because then it could just be over with and we could be back to normal days. But like I said, my thought is that there's a sense of we've lost our kids to this culture. Of course, I'm being a little joking for some and not for all, where people go, we had so much hate to fill our kids with, and none of it took. None of it took. We had ancestral hate to fill our kids with, and none of it took. Now look at this nonsense. So there is that aspect of it. There's an age aspect of it. I don't know why people can't admit to their own mortality too and just say, you know what? It's not for me. Time marches on. Time marches on, man. And every day is a reminder that your days are numbered. Now, for young people, I know you think you're going to be young forever, and that's fine. That's the mentality to have. You're going to be young forever. But as you get older, once you get past that 50, 55 era, boy, time starts moving quick. And then you start being very well aware of your own mortality. You're well aware that however many summers, like Dion Cole says, however many summers you have left. I will be 60 in a couple of months. 60. What have I got? Maybe 15 summers left? 15. That's two hands and then another hand. It's three hands. I don't know why I just couldn't say three hands. That was weird, right? It was bizarre that two hands and then another hand. It's three hands. I got 5 fingers. It's been a long time since I've done a podcast. I'm not used to thinking this much. I got 3 hands of summers left. Maybe 3 hands of summers left. That's a lifespan. That's the average lifespan. If I lose some weight, for crying out loud, I may have less, for crying out loud. I don't know how I keep playing pickleball 6 days a week, at least 2 hours a day, and my weight has remained the same. I have not lost the weight from the pandemic, and I'm not happy about it. I think I've talked about this too. My weight has been a battle for a lot of my life, but I could manage to take care of it because I was very active and I had, what's that word? Metabolism. I had that going for me, and now I don't have any of that. And so now the joke is, I understand the plight of the fat vegan. I do. I sympathize and empathize with the fat vegan. You know, the person's like, oh, I'm a vegan. And you look and you go, why are you so big if all you eat is vegetables? Well, yeah, I get it. How am I still so big when all I'm doing is playing pickleball? I put on a shirt the other day. I was too big for the shirt. A shirt that used to drape over my body now was too big to button up or too small to button up. Like, it's one thing with pants. It's another thing where you've outgrown a button-down shirt. It's out of control, people. I got to get on this. I got to stop with the sugary sweets. That's the problem. Anyway, now this has just turned into therapy. Back to our original programming. Yeah, they're fired up. And we just need a moment of honesty. Either say, yeah, we're upset because we lost our kids to the culture. Or just say, yeah, I'm sorry. I am just angry at time because time keeps moving on. I watched the Kendrick Lamar halftime show, and I'll tell you the truth. I knew 3 of the songs. 3 of the songs is all I knew. I marveled at the artistry and all the visual symbolism and the choreography and everything about it. And also, as being a person who is a creative, I know how much work was put into that, and I was in awe and respected that part of the craft. But I didn't know all the songs. I knew Not Like Us. I knew Stay Humble. and maybe one other song. But I enjoyed it for what it was. And like I said, I know it wasn't for me. And I was fine with that. Just as if they'd put on, I don't know, Tom Petty was on a few years ago. That wasn't for me. Nor did I run to the internet and start talking about how horrible I thought it was. Or talk about how talentless I thought Tom Petty was. Or how, what his fan base was. And just saying that, yeah, those people, I don't even know what a Tom Petty fan base is, because the Super Bowl halftime show is about between 13 and 15 minutes, usually around 13 minutes. Unless he did Free Falling for 13 minutes, I got no interest in it. None whatsoever. But it is what it is. I think I'm done with that. Am I done with that moment? Let me roll it around in my head. See if I'm done with the outrage of the Super Bowl halftime. Yeah, I think I am. The other thing is Trump is back in office. And look, I try not to be political. And especially during this time where it seems to be all on edge. And as I've mentioned many times before, I don't watch the news. And now I definitely don't watch the news, because it seems to me that Trump is doing a lot of stuff and people are getting upset about every little thing that he does. And it's just overload. It's just, you spend all your time being angry about, oh, he did this and then he did that, or being happy about it. Yeah, thank goodness he did this, or thank goodness he did, whatever it is. I don't have time for that. One, I got to lose weight. Two, I got to get better at pickleball. And three, I've got 3 hands of summers left. I can't let 4 of those fingers be wasted on being upset with something or being happy about something that is political that really I have no way to change. You know? And it's not that I'm apathetic towards it. No, I do care. I care about this. I care about the future. I care about this. But if I cannot physically change it to do so, my anger being expended is doing more harm than good. I'll voice my opinion by a vote. I'll voice my opinion by a protest or what's the thing? You get a thing signed. How come I can't think of words, for crying out loud? The one thing I'm supposed to be able to do, a petition. There it is. You get a petition signed. But I can't just have it being empty calorie rage and anger. So I will tune into the news like every 4 days, 4 to 5 days. I'll scroll through and just see what's happening. And I go, okay, all right. I do think there's things that are funny. I've tried to tell them on stage, and because I try to stay as objective as possible. I'm not going to be the guy that's dumping on Trump voters, because this is what I said during the first Trump election. The difference between Republicans and Democrats with Trump and with George W. Bush was that people would call Bush dumb. But during the Trump thing, people called the voters dumb. And that became more personal. That's why it's more incendiary when you talk about Trump than it is when you talked about Bush. Because you could make fun of George Bush being dumb, and people who were for Bush would just go, that's all right. You know, he's a goofball. He's this, that. But the way that it got spun for Trump is that it jumped Trump and went straight to the voters. And then people were calling voters dumb. And that's more personal. And that is more, hey, we're going to fight. We're going to go with this thing. And that's what makes people more defensive about it. So I don't don't do any of that. I'm not trying to say anything about Trump voters. I get it. You voted for who you wanted to vote for. There are some weird things with your logic. People who are Christians that say that's my choice for Christianity. And I'm like, all right, that dude. Okay. That's fine. Whatever it is. I don't know if I ever told the story about the guy that I was trapped in the Denver airport with that was trying to convince me that Trump the first time was sent by God, like a messenger of God. There's that weird moment. Okay, that's a little weird is what that is. But I try to look at it, down the middle. The same way when I was talking about saying that people were kept going, oh, maybe Trump will change. And I was like, no, he's not going to change because he's 70-something years old. That's not what happens with people at that age. So people understood that. When Trump got in, and this time, and one of the first orders of business is that he released all of the January 6 people, the January 6 folks that were in jail or prison, that to me was kind of funny because it seemed like the Joker became president and his first order of business was releasing everyone from Arkham Asylum. That's what it felt like. And he's assembled this cabinet, which seems like it's a cabinet of supervillains. The guy in charge of nukes is a drunk who said, if I get this job, I'll stop drinking. When would you ever accept that as being conditions from one of your drunk relatives? Matter of fact, I think that's one of the signs of alcoholism is you're like, no, this is it. I swear to God, if you just give me this, I will stop drinking. It's that bargain you make with God. Now, remember, I don't drink, so I've never been drunk, but it's the bargain you make with God when you're drunk and hungover and throwing up and going, oh, please just get me through this and I will never do this again. That's what he did. And he used that. And then they went, yeah, sure. All right, we'll give you that job. Elon Musk is in the Oval Office addressing the nation and answering questions. He's the one dude in that office not in a suit. The kid was in a suit. If that's not supervillain shit, I've never seen what supervillain shit is. Everyone in the Oval Office was dressed in a suit except for the dude who was answering questions as being in charge of Doge. And no one has questioned the fact that he named this government agency after the cryptocurrency that he's constantly been pushing. He's the guy who's been pushing Dogecoin. And then he's like, hey, here's an idea. How about I make a government agency that I'm in charge of that also has the same name? I will say this. Trump has shown me that he'd be a much better president than I would be. All the people that say, well, I could be president, I know he did one thing. And I was like, well, you were better than me. I could not have that job. When that kid, the kid X, the kid that Musk named a whole bunch of things that nobody can pronounce, it's symbols and X, and it's more difficult than getting that guy to say Mitzelplick backwards, the Superman villain. We're going to stay on the villain theme. And that 4-year-old kid is telling the president, you're not the president, and I need you to shush. If that was me, I'm telling you right now, honestly, I've been the first sitting president to slap the shit out of a 4-year-old on camera. Oh, we would have fought. We would have definitely been fighting. You're not bringing your 4-year-old misbehaving kid into the Oval Office that's telling me you need me to shush and I'm not the president. I'd have got up and slapped the shit out of that kid and then thrown Musk out by his goddamn hair plugs. I don't care how much this is a weird thing about money. Money has so much power in this country that you go, oh, I got to listen to him because he's the guy that donated the campaign. Do we not understand the idea that you already are the president? If he takes away his money, you can't run anymore because it's your second term. But why not just go, hey, it's the whole joke of we've already got your money. Now I don't care how you get treated. Like the risk should be, I'm going to give you money and then you're going to do what I say. Or you're going to do what you said you were going to do. Well, both of us have to uphold that bargain. And once you give me the money, now you're in the position of the weaker thing. Just because you gave me money, dude, I've got your money. You aren't getting your money back. Guess hey, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But you need to get your misbehaving 4-year-old the hell out of my face. Oh my goodness. We'd have gone right to you remember how when television used to go off and there would be that picture with like a radar screen up there? That's what would have happened. It said, I'm going to need you to shush your mouth. And you'd have heard smack and then crying and then dark screen up with that thing, national anthem playing. Okay, that was a lot of levels there because that was a point when TV used to go off. I know that's a long time ago. It was much better than when TV used to go off. That was a time, a national time to say, hey, you know what? Go to bed. Go to bed. It's enough. It's enough stimuli. Go to bed. Take a load off. Get some rest. Go to bed. Now, then they got the infomercials, and then people just like, oh, no, I'm staying up. I got to keep watching because I need this album set. I need all these CDs. Remember these songs? I need this gadget. And now we're here. TV never goes off. Got a 24-hour news cycle. Again, how is that a great idea? All that news is still going to be there in the morning. I don't need to hear news in real time. People are bad. Accidents happen. Tragedies happen. Yep, they'll still happen in the morning. I don't need 24-hour-a-day news. Here's more bad. This is what it should be called, just bad news. Here's more bad news. Here's more upsetting news. More people were killed because somebody couldn't take it anymore. We can't be left alone. There's too much stimuli. I don't think our brains were meant for this much stimuli. Or is it stimulus? I think it's stimuli. You go to the gas station, you can't just sit there and pump gas and just be alone with your thoughts because there's a TV screen there on the gas station pump that has to keep you either entertained or informed. I've got enough in my head. I need to figure out where I'm going. I need to figure out how much gas I'm putting in. It's going to cost me an extra 35. Where do I stop this pump? Do I stop at 35 at the dollar and then get the extra 35 cents? Or do I stop at 65 and then do that? I got to make sure I'm right there. Oh, dang it. Now I'm at 66. Now I'm at 01. I hate to see that. Anyway, there's a lot. Look, this is my head. This is what goes on in my head. I don't know about yours. Your head may vary. But we can't be left alone with our thoughts at the gas pump during a time when you should be just, hey, that's new across the street. What is that? Is that a new coffee place? I want to check that out. But now we're not doing that. We're not. Everything's got to be filled with something. And this is where we sit now. All right. Maybe it's time to start wrapping this up. I think we're done well. We've got a lot out for the first time back in 592 days. Not bad at all. I'm giving a report. I'm giving a progress report as I go. Let's switch to lighter. Let's go to sports, shall we? I've got the pickleball bug. Of course, I'm playing. My game's getting a little better. It's interesting how this thing goes with pickleball. You go through slumps. You go through a point where you're stagnant. They tell you that once you start getting better, that you actually drill more than you play games, which I get, but also makes no sense. Look, I got into pickleball to play games. I didn't get into pickleball to practice playing pickleball. That I don't. I mean, I understand what they're saying, but at some point, the fun is playing the game. And when they're telling you, the pros will tell you, "Oh no, you practice more than you play games." Okay, that doesn't sound like fun. Like if I were just to practice basketball things, but I never played a basketball game, I would stop playing basketball. I would, because they're like, this is boring. Hey, look, I'm practicing my defensive slides. Why? Oh, well, when I get into a game, that rarely happens, then I got to go back and practice for that to happen again. No, you want to play the games, and I get what they're saying. Don't get all over me. I get what they're saying, but I still like to play the games. And you can try to implement the things that you practice within the games. Maybe a healthy balance. But anyway, like I said, you plateau at times. And there was some of those times during these days that I've not been behind the mic where it's been very frustrating, making the same mistakes. Even today was nice. Today, we've had rain here for which, we need. We need the rain. That's another thing that tells me I'm getting old, because anytime it rains, my first thought is, we need the rain. That's something that old people say. I remember as a kid, I couldn't stand rain because it meant I couldn't go outside to play, because that's all I cared about was playing. And old people go, well, we need the rain. And I was like, oh, you old person with your we need the rain stuff. And now I've become that person. I still would like to go out to play, but I've also come into the camp of, well, we need the rain. We could use the rain. All right, fine. So we've had rain for a couple of days, and today was the break of the storm. So the courts were wet because it rained up through the night, but someone went out there. That's what the other thing about pickleball people. They will find a way. I'm all in on pickleball. I carry a pickleball net in the back of my car just in case. I have 4 paddles that I've purchased. There are other paddles that I have that, when you first begin with, but you don't play with those paddles. But I have 4 gameplay paddles that I have. So I've invested in that. I've got balls. I've got anything else. I've got that. I've got a net. I've got balls. I've got paddles. All right, so I've got that. Oh, I've got the equipment that comes with it. I've weighted my paddles. I've got the paddle eraser, stuff you scrub on the paddle that takes off the scuff marks of the ball, that keeps the grit on the. I've got all that. I'm all in on that. But I have yet, nor will I ever, get to the court-ready status of getting stuff together, because there's other things. There's a roller. You get a roller to dry off a court in case of rain. Many people have the leaf blowers. That's part of the pickleball package. You get a leaf blower to blow all the debris off the court to get it ready. Or maybe you get a squeegee and stuff. Okay, I'm not into that thing. I don't foresee myself ever being at that level where I've got a roller and a blower and a squeegee in my car ready for any condition. Now, I love the game of pickleball. It's fun. It gives me an outlet that I used to have when I played basketball. But when I played basketball, if there was a problem on the court, I didn't have anything to help the conditions of the court. If there was a problem and we couldn't play, guess what? We just couldn't play. I'll go home that day. And that's how I feel with pickleball. But there's a lot of people. It's the next level of dedication of pickleball. You meet somebody, you ask them, hey, you play pickleball? How often do you play? And they're like, oh, I play every day. Ask them if they've got the level where they've got a leaf blower in their car. Then you'll know those people are seriously into pickleball. So today was a nice day. I was playing today, and there's certain tiers, I say that it's not cliquish. It's not. It is inclusive. People will play with all the people and stuff, but there is a level of snobbery where people go, I don't know about the level of those people playing. Because once you start getting better, you want to play with people who are better than you. You don't mind getting your head handed to you. They may mind playing with people that are less than them, but they know that's the only way to get people better to get up to the level. Like, you got to be close to their level. You don't want to play with beginners because it's not necessarily as fun. But there's a group. They got their own group. They play together. And then I kind of played with that group today. I got into that group today. And guess what? Held my own. Because there were many times where I watched that group and they were exclusive amongst themselves. And I got in my head like, you know what? They're right. I'm not good enough to play with them. And that's fine. I would watch their game while I was playing my game and seeing some of the shots. And I would think, maybe I am good. So I played with them today. And I am good enough. Yeah, definitely good enough. And held my own. And had some really good shots. Had some shots that were not good shots that I should have made. Same mistakes. I hate that. Same mistakes over and over again. But I felt good. Felt good about it. That is the plight of pickleball. And by the way, I did a podcast about pickleball. I was a guest on a podcast that I think originates from England. Called the Subcultural. I think it's what it's called. Subcultural. The link will be somewhere up. If you look for me at any point in time, the link will be there to the Subculture podcast where we're talking about pickleball. They found me because of the pickleball comedian thing. And I tried to answer all the questions I could. So that was interesting that someone came to me about pickleball. Not comedy. Not the thing I do. They came to me about pickleball. So I've got another week left, and why? So this is my. Remember, you don't remember because I hadn't said it. I have a big problem with the whole idea of when someone starts to play pickleball, they go, "Hey, follow me on my journey of pickleball." And I almost said it just now. I almost said, so this is my journey of pickleball. You're not on a journey. You're not. It's not a journey. It's just whatever the new thing is. But like I said, I got to be a guest, talk about pickleball, and the progress of my pickleball continues. Hopefully it will still continue when I go to the ship. My friend Karen Granger will be on there the first week, and so there I will be drilling on the tiny court, the court for ants. Well, we've done a lot. I've said a lot. I got no Olivia stories to share. She is growing up. She's an 11-year-old young lady now, is what she is. She's not that little kid anymore, but still a kid. Still funny. Noah's good. Kids are good. Other than that, I think that's about it. I think it's time for us to wrap this episode up. What have I got to plug? I'll be on the ships next week. You can check out the Pickleball Comedian. That is the IG, YouTube, Facebook. I almost said InstaFace, which would have been funny if I was trying to be an old person trying to say, but I almost said it sincerely, like that was the name of it. What? I've been behind the mic too long. Is what's going on. I'm probably a little sleepy. That's what's happening here. So check that out. I've got interviews and stuff, and I'll be posting up more stuff. I post semi-regularly. I do it more regularly than I do this, for crying out loud. We have made it. We have made it through episode 38, season 3, episode 1 of Sometimes the Old Man is Right. That is crazy. Who knew? Who knew? I cannot thank the folks enough. It's odd because I look at the numbers, and the most recent episode has the most downloads of any of the episodes. The one about John Wick, the return of John Wick. I don't even know what that episode is about. I might have to go back and listen to it myself, but it has many more downloads than any of the others. And I appreciate the people that take the time to download, see what I was up to almost 2 years ago. and hopefully come back now. And look, I'm going to be honest. I will try. And I say I'll try all the time. But can you give me a Pete Hegseth's type of confidence that I will try my best to come back semi-regularly with new episodes of this? I'll be on a ship for 3 weeks. I will try to throw up 3 episodes. I will post the episodes that I did not post because I did not think that they were of quality, and then you can see what I was talking about. I'll see whether or not this one is of quality. I believe that it is. For those people who aren't big fans or anything, you might go, well, it was a little bit too heavy on the race. Was it? I don't know if you realize this. I'm a black man. My experience is a little bit different than the rest of the people, for crying out loud. That's the other thing about it, is that, and I hate, how did I get back to race? When people go, oh, I saw, there was a release recently for a cruise line. I won't say which cruise line. They released saying, we want our comics to do no more political stuff nor racial stuff. We would like the overall quality to be for the overall enjoyment of every passenger, which I thought, I get if you're going to tell people that are being negative and denigrating towards racial things, but you're telling you're telling a black person, don't talk about your experience of being black. That's weird. That is weird. But I don't know. It's not the line I'm on. So that's all that matters to me. But I don't even know how I would handle that, because I really have a problem if you are telling me that, hey, your material is making white folks uncomfortable. Minorities have been uncomfortable forever. We have been made to feel uncomfortable because we have to fit in. I said this many, many times. The difference between us, we are equal, but there are cultural differences. There are. That is what makes it funny, is that you look at it and go, oh, this is a black thing, or this is a Latino thing, this is an Asian thing, this is a that thing. Because there's not, or an Italian thing, or an Irish thing. We are all made up of different cultures, and we come together as this America. The difference between America and Canada, I've said it many times, is that Canada is a mosaic. They keep their cultural integrity. America wants you to be a melting pot to where, okay, those things are nice, but we need you to be more like this. We need you to blend into this goop, is what it is. This goop in the pot, which now just has no identity whatsoever because it makes the rest of us feel comfortable. I'll tell you what makes us feel comfortable. Talking about things. That's what makes us feel comfortable. And I talked about it before. We need to, like I said, a national program for the okay, not to be okay, whatever that thing is. Can we bring back eye contact in this country? Can we bring back eye contact and a random smile? I find myself on a ship. If you're on the ship, you say good morning to every time you see somebody and you get into the elevator. Everybody, there's a greeting. There's a common courtesy greeting of, hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. You don't have to have a conversation, but there's just that. And sometimes I'm on the ship and then I come off the ship and I forget I'm not on the ship, and I'll walk by a stranger and I'll say good morning, afternoon, or whatever it is, or I'll look at somebody and I'll actually smile or make eye contact. And a lot of times they'll smile back, and there's a moment where you feel that type of, oh, wait a minute. Oh, there are other people out here. This is disarming. To smile at somebody, it kind of helps my day. It makes me feel a little bit better than the whole type of whatever is going on in your head, staring straight at the ground type of deal. We need to bring back that interpersonal things. You don't have to be so chatty. Look here, you know as much as I love you, Canada, you don't have to be Canadian, okay? You don't have to be that chatty, for crying out loud. But there's somewhere in the middle that we can do, that we can bring back that to hear? All right. I've talked long enough. And then I started going off onto another tangent. I will do my best. That's where I was. I will do my best to try and bring more regular things. And I've said this many times before. But I can only say it and try. That's all I can do. I won't drink on the job and blow up another country. How about that? That I can guarantee you. All right, folks. I appreciate all of you. Each and every one of you. And I don't think there's that many of you. I think I could spend my time actually thanking each and every one of you. That's what it is, but I'll keep at it. Keep doing it. I'll be on a ship next week for 3 weeks. Then I'll be back at home. Back on some land pickleball. Check out the Subcultural Podcasts. Check out the Pickleball Comedian, IG, Facebook, YouTube, InstaFace. Check out the TV Funny Man stuff. Go to the website, lamontferguson.com. You can see what's going on there. The other website is pickleballcomedian.com. You can see what's going on there. Other than that, I think that's about it, folks. We made it. We made it through the episode. And I know I said a lot. And I know some of the things I said may not be popular opinions. You may say, this guy, what's he talking about? I know. But I sit down behind the mic, turn the machine on, and then just start rambling. Some of the things I may have a point about. Maybe not all of you are upset that because you're losing your kids to black culture. Maybe. Maybe some of you are. Maybe Trump is not the Joker. I don't know. It seems very villainesque is what's going on. And we have no superhero to stop him. All I know is I say a lot of things. And some of the things, I may be way off point. But you know the drill. Sometimes the old man is right. I'll see you next time.